Ladies and gentlemen, from the Microsoft Theater here in downtown Los Angeles, brought to you by Shawn Porter Promotions.
Yeah, let's talk some boxing. Yeah, we'll keep it simple. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the PorterWay Podcast. Showtime, Sean P. Sean Z. How you doing, big dog?
What's up, brother?
Hey, Ant not with us today.
Yeah, he must be busy holding down his business.
Ant is
family time.
doing what he got to do.
Yeah.
You know, I admire that about the young man. He has always done what needs to be done. All that being said, how you feeling, man? What's going on with you?
Good, man. Just I was in New York City over the weekend for the Zayas card.
Yeah.
So had to bid farewell to boxing on ESPN for the time being.
Yeah, I like that. For the time being, damn it. For the time being. Never thought about that.
Yeah, well.
It really feels like it's like gone forever, you know?
I played Usher's Burn like 15 times on the
Shut
plane. Not upset, not sad. I'm just playing it.
Not trying to hear that.
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
I did.
Why?
I don't know, because I had to let it burn. I gotta let this chapter in American boxing gotta let it burn.
I'm telling you, man, boxing and music are married, and it's funny that like even for a writer, you know, such as yourself, it's like this is the song I need to get me through this weekend.
Got it.
This is the song I need to get me through this weekend.
Yeah, again, I wasn't even really upset. It was just seemed appropriate.
How was the energy?
Xander sold the small room out, the theater out.
Yeah, I like that theater.
It's an iconic theater. You get the lighting at the top of the roof, and so I always think of like Vernon Forrest, Shane Mosley, that big upset that happened there.
Oh, that was in that room?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. When Shane was pound for pound king, but energy was great. Place was filled. A lot of Boricuas there, some Dominicanos, and it was a good show, man. It was a good show. Good night of boxing.
Let's go back real quick.
Always special being at the Garden.
Yeah. I've never had a chance to fight in the Garden. It's funny, like I was listening to a couple of fighters speak on fighting in the Garden. I was like, dang, like I can't be included in that conversation, you know?
I don't think Floyd ever did either.
I don't know.
And maybe even Pacquiao for that matter. I don't know if those two guys ever ventured to Madison Square. But you did beat Danny in Brooklyn to win so
Brooklyn is home, has been home, yeah.
Right.
Used to hate Brooklyn.
Well, Brooklyn. So I feel like East Coast fans.
I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all heard these stories before, but whenever I hear Brooklyn, it's always you used to hate Brooklyn. You used to hate Brooklyn. You used to hate Brooklyn.
Why is that?
Because of goddamn Danny Jacobs.
Oh, I knew it was gonna be something from the amateurs.
Oh yeah, man. I knew Cleveland. I knew, Columbus. I didn't travel that much, and funny enough, I knew like Lenexa, Kansas, because we went there every year for the Silver Gloves, and every year I would lose the national championship. I'd lose the championship every year, and then the year before I fought Danny, I showed up and showed out. I was flawless, did my thing, and I came back the next year thinking I was gonna repeat. Danny gets in the ring, Jacobs, and I didn't know who Daniel Jacobs was. So I just honestly overlooked him, and the dude was it.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was like, he didn't blitz me with, but it just was a mental blitz. Like this dude is a lot to handle. And then, he stopped my repeat, and then after that it was like every time I saw him, it was just he got better. Every time I saw him, I couldn't beat him. And it was like, since I can't beat you, I hate everything that you're
I hate
about.
Brooklyn too. I hate everything.
I never stepped foot in Brooklyn a day in my life, and it was like I hate Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I hate Brooklyn. So
Brooklyn for interrupting the show too.
Yeah. But listen, I want to go back real quick. Shout out to the GWOAT out there in Detroit, GWOATing. Before we get to, because I do want to touch on it a little bit, even though it's not on the notes, but we'll go back real quick. Tony Harrison got back in the ring. I didn't know he was getting back in the ring until the night of. I was surprised to see him getting back in the ring. And even though, he hadn't truly made a retirement announcement or anything like that, he's been out of the ring for quite some, some time. So
Since the Tim Zoo fight.
Yeah, so I hadn't expected them to just, and I was like, oh, Tony fighting, okay.
Yeah.
We turn it on, and it's, classic Tony just right there, boxing, 1-2, step around, just, he's been a vet forever. Like even when he was a young dude,
yeah.
he had a very veteran type of style, you know. So I was like, all right, well, you know, he gon'. But the dude just was swinging hard and wide and all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, he's not gonna catch Tony. I said, Tony, come on now, you better than that. Change the channel, go over to ESPN. I come back, you know, I think Shoe's fight ended or something like that. I go back to the fight. I'm like, this dude gonna get caught. I said, I don't want him to get caught. I know.
Why did you know he was gonna get caught?
He just, you know, with that veteran style, he has like this like lethargic nature, right? And
almost too comfortable in the ring.
Almost too comfortable. Yeah, almost too comfortable yet uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I hope that makes sense, right? So it's like he's light on his feet. He has this nature about him that's like, I'm comfortable, but I don't want to get hit, you know? And it's like when he gets hit, it shakes him up like very, very quickly, you know? And when he went down, I was like, damn, like it.
Not want to get in the cold pool. And so when you dip your...
Exactly like that. Exactly like that, you know? I saw him go down and I just wasn't worried. I was just like, I know you're going to get up, but I just don't want you to take no more of that, you know? He's been through that enough, like, in his career, you know? So... but shout out to Tony Harrison getting back in the ring and, you know, handling this young dude that made the fight, ended up making it like entertaining, you know.
He has to be related to Felix Diaz, the guy that fought Crawford back in the day.
Why you say that?
They look so similar. They look like they were related.
Other guy.
Yeah, Diaz
Yeah.
dropped him. He looked like Felix Diaz, who fought Crawford, the gold medalist.
Yeah, I know.
Tony,
Felix.
you know, he's always been skilled and sharp and fun to watch in that regard. But his punch resistance, you know, been shaky over the years, and probably isn't at its best now. And his legs probably aren't as fresh as they were years ago. But yeah, he's always been fun to watch. What I really would love to see Tony give back to the game with and continue to is his training. Mm-hmm. I really think, you know, from his dad, his late father, and they learned a lot under Emmanuel Stewart out there in Detroit. Mm-hmm. And I really think he has a gift for being a great trainer. So he can still fight. You know, I don't think he's realistically going to be in the title picture again at 60. Well, then again, 60 is wide open, so never say never. He could put some stuff together, but his legs and his punch resistance, they're compromised, and they were never the best, even as skilled as he was. But I'd love to see him become a top flight trainer.
It's a realistic thing too. The higher you go up in weight, the harder the punch is. You know, it's a part of nature. You know, so when he sustained the kind of damage that he did at 154, at 160, he's truly taking a chance. You know, now he's really relying on intelligence and experience. No surprise to see his gas tank wasn't, you know, strong. You know, you could see him kind of like wavering at different points in certain rounds. No surprise there, but
like Gary Russell last week. Like he's still sharp and
it looked like almost just like that.
Right.
Like you to the naked eye, you almost don't see it, but then there's some small lulls, and then there's the little bit of walking or a little bit of stepping around that, you know, you and I were like, okay, it's cool, breathe, you know what I mean? But it's like, okay, these are the moments where elite, which both these guys have been, elite doesn't just step around without purpose.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the purpose to breathe. That's the purpose to, you know, move that clock, which again, smarter and older and things like that. Those are the kinds of things that take place. But at 160, the big question is, does Tony have that kind of room to do those kinds of things? Go for it if he wants to, but
yeah, it's a wide open division.
I tell you what, I was talking about him the other day, and somebody was surprised to hear me say this, the guy I was on the phone with, but we were talking about broadcasting and some of the guys that I wouldn't mind getting a job over me. Mm-hmm. Of course, Andre Ward, of course, Timothy Bradley. And I said, I'm gonna tell you one who gonna surprise you. You said, who? I said, Tony Harrison.
Yeah.
And it gets quiet. Because, like, nobody's heard Tony. I said, Tony did FS1 one time. I said, this is early on when FS1 first got going, and I wasn't working that night. I was at a hotel. I don't remember what was going on, but I said, I remember sitting there just listening to Tony, and I was just like, yo, I thought, like, I had this thing in the bag. Nobody's can get with me. I said, yo, this dude is nasty on the mic. You know, a little raw, but just mad nasty. So yeah, the broadcasting as well as the coaching for Tony is right there for him.
He just seems like like he got it from his dad too, an old school boxing guy by nature, like an old soul when it comes to that. He probably knows a lot from all the way to the black and white days. That's what I'm with you. That what you're saying, commentating. I'm saying training. I just mean that high IQ. It could give back to the sport, not necessarily having to be in the ring anymore. So
yeah. So salute to Tony, and then of course Claressa Shields. She just mean. Go ahead, man. I'm gonna let you take this one.
Yeah, I'm busy covering the Zayas fight in New York, so I have to catch up by watching the highlights.
You need me to take it? I got it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You want to lead off on it?
I mean,
you watched the whole thing live, right?
I did, and it's not much to say. That's why I said she the GWOAT is GWOATing. You know what I mean?
More of the same.
Yeah, it's just the same. Hunt them down,
That's
beat
what
them
the
down.
highlights look like.
Yeah, hunt them down, beat them down, and I'm here. So we love you, we respect you for the win, but let's just fast forward because it's typical. You beating them down. It is what it is. But then you got Laila Ali.
So, all right, I got a couple takes on that. First of all, I want to give credit to Shields for one thing, and I see she draws a lot of ire on social media, and a lot of people don't like her, right?
Type in ire real quick.
They think she's got hate, anger.
Yeah. Okay.
She.
Boy, you growing me up. She's growing me up.
She's got a big mouth, but she backs it up, and so that's what that gives you a pass on a lot of them having a big mouth. So when you back it up, it's different, like Roy and Ali and Floyd, and she's of that ilk, and I think
you type in ilk,
that too, caliber, that type of tier.
Not to be confused with elk.
Not with elks, no. But I want to give her credit for selling out an arena in Michigan. Without bending the knee to Turkey, without being with Al Heyman, without being with Eddie Hearn, without being with Bob Arum, that's the American dream. Yeah. She when she turned pro, she said she was going to be $1 million fighter. A lot of people scoffed at that, said that wasn't going to happen in women's boxing. A lot of people don't like her, and she keeps doing what she's doing, and keeps being number one pound for pound and winning these fights, dominant, easy fashion. Maybe at heavyweight, we could nitpick everybody. A few times she did, her shoulder roll was nice, her defense was nice. You saw all the different things she's capable of, the crazy combinations and hand speed. A few times she relied on her reflexes and the chin was exposed and she'd square up on her shoulder roll a little bit. And maybe at heavyweight she was taking a deeper breath in spots than she normally did, carrying all that weight. But, I think I'd like to see her drop down to fight the Shadeja Green fight. Even if she can get all the way back to 54 for fun money fights that she'd be heavily favored in and have a size advantage, Michaela Mayer, whoever else wants to go on up to 54, she could suck down to the lowest at 54. Those are fun fights. But yeah, man, I think and the Laila Ali thing. Here we go.
Yeah.
She would beat Laila Ali at any age. Female boxing has evolved so much. Respect to the greatest of all times, daughter, Laila Ali, who was a really good fighter in her time, but they didn't even have the Olympics back then. They didn't. Women's boxing didn't have Olympics back then, and the talent.
She didn't have a way, even if she wanted to, as a young. As far as I know, she wasn't young when she wanted to do it. Then, as she got a little older, like teenage years, like late teens, when she wanted to do it, her dad was kind of like, nah, wouldn't it? No. And then eventually it came to her, So I'm sorry to cut you off, but she just she didn't have the ability to have the kind of experience and upbringing that Claressa had. And I mean, like, I've known Claressa since before she could box, and she's just always been in the gyms, always been running around different tournaments and stuff like that.
Well, it's funny because Shakur Stevenson said what I'm saying. He explained this is why Sugar Ray Robinson would get beat in today's boxing because the sport evolves, right?
Yeah.
And I said, well, no, I still think Sugar Ray beats everybody at 47, respectfully. But in this case, I'm going to borrow Shakur's argument. The women's boxing has evolved a lot. And people talk about Claressa. The main criticism Claressa gets is her talent pool. Okay, you're undisputed in 3-4 divisions, but what's your talent pool? The lower weight classes have deeper talent pools than she does. But the talent pool is still deeper than when Ali fought. And when Ali fought, the main person in her talent pool was Ann Wolfe. And that fight never happened. And so, but Ali, to your point, you could still go back and watch her old fights. And she was a talent. She had talent for sure, but she started late. Claressa has the Olympic pedigree, sparring with men that would go on to become world champions as a teenager. And she beats her now, but the point I want to make is she beats her regardless of age, at any time. So
24-0 and
was it like 21 knockouts?
Laila in 21 knockouts. Yeah. Inactive. And I love Laila, but stay inactive. You got nothing to prove.
Yeah.
I know this is kind of stepping on Claressa and what she's trying to do to really further what she's claiming, and she has every right to claim it, And I think that maybe for her, she feels like in order for people to really realize that I'm the GWOAT, I gotta beat the greatest of all time's daughter, because the greatest of all time's daughter inherited the label the greatest of all time, And I mean.
It's honestly, a big fight.
It is.
Even though she's 47.
I was going to say, but she's, I'm looking at her age right here. She's 47, out of the ring, been a family, a mother and a wife and all. Just keep doing you. It's fun, and I'm not sure how serious Laila is. I don't think Laila is the kind of woman that somebody could bait her into something. Yeah. But I like the bait that Claressa
I did too.
Out.
It was funny.
It's sexy. It's sexy.
It was
funny.
Keep
quoting. Keep quoting. ESPN.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody, man. Joe Tessitore. Love Joe.
Poncher,
Joe's
Tim.
Gonna keep working, doing his thing on NCAA football and basketball and everything else. You said you saw Tim?
Tim Bradley, Christina Poncher, Mark Kriegel, Bernardo Osuna, Algieri, everybody.
So hopefully, when Top Rank finds a place to land, that same team is there. Great team. I really loved how Tim evolved over the years. Dre stepped away, and I mean, he really
was amazing. Yeah,
Tim filled his shoes and carried on being Tim. So Tim did a great job. Tim knows I love him. So, Shoo Carrington
against Mateus.
Did you get my text message?
Which one?
During the fight.
No. What was it?
I don't remember what the text message was, but I'm going to just skip forward to now.
Oh, I think you were saying something about it being like an ordinary
He got to step up.
He's got to step up. Yeah, I remember.
This is your last fight on ESPN, and everybody that I had a chance to tell this to, and I should have known to tell Shoo this, but I was telling people as this thing was coming this way, I know I got a chance to tell this to Abdullah Mason. I told him, I said, every chance you get on ESPN, make a big splash. Because what you want to do is splash and hit people and make it so that they want to follow you wherever you end up. And Shoo just didn't do that on fight night. He didn't make anybody feel like, man, I hate boxing's leaving ESPN because now where am I going to find this guy? Let me know because I want to see this guy. You know what I mean? It was a very ordinary fight. And I'm looking into his eyes through the fight night, and it just looked like he's comfortable, he's fine, but I'm going to stay here. And I just didn't understand why he stayed there.
Well, I've been saying for a few fights now that what I like about Carrington is his pull counters, his counter punch game. But he's got long arms at the weight. He's sharp, he's fast. And am I wrong for thinking, he could create more off the jab when the counter punching isn't there? And, create more off the jab. But at the same time, since I've been saying it for a few times, I'm like, okay, then this is what it is. He is what he is. He's 27, going on 28. And to keep it in perspective, I think we can't get carried away with the flaws too much, because I still think he's a tough style for the champions. Because, the more counterpunching, champions come to win. So the more counterpunching opportunities you give Carrington, the more chances you give him to do what he does best. He might lose to those guys because of those, when he's not counterpunching, his activity comes down a little bit, he doesn't create, and he gets hit. For being a counterpuncher, he does get hit too. He gets touched up. And even though he's got some knockouts, he's not a huge puncher.
Yeah.
But that counter-punching ability, that length, how sharp he is, he's still going to be a handful for anybody at 26. Even Inoue coming up from 22 because styles make fights.
Yeah.
He's going to be a tough fight for any of those guys.
I just hate. I just needed him to step up. You know, I just really wanted him to step up, and I thought that he had the ability to. I felt like it got to a point where he could have separated himself, and he just, I feel, chose not to. You know, I don't think it was information from the corner like, you know, keep doing what you're doing. You know, we're winning. It's just not that's boxing, but like. There's the next level, which is just truly entertaining people.
It's Madison Square Garden. It's your last fight on ESPN.
Yeah.
It's your first world title fight.
You're the co-main event, and you want to be in the main event position. Like, that's how I was.
Right.
When I was a co-main, I'm like, yo, let me show you that that's the space that I want to be in, you know? I'm not going to beat him up any more than I feel like I already have. I'm a big fan of Shushu, and I know that he's capable of so much more, and I think that's why, you know, I kind of just had a bad taste in my mouth. I was like, man, we still sit here like you're supposed to be in the back room waiting on this main event to start, you know?
Yeah, because you're fighting the number 13th ranked guy. Yeah. You know, it's like, it'd be one thing if it was, you know, number one guy. And
now you pouring salt on the wound.
No, you're right. You know, you're right. But hey, Heita had a heavy right hand, man. He had some thump in the right hand.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, you could expect more from him off the jab and everything. But I'm just accepting that's probably not going to happen. So as he is, you know, he's still going to be a tough out for anybody at 126.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and now he's a world champion.
And then let's go real quick on so I'm sorry. So who do you want to see Bruce with now?
Well, Fulton is supposed to still fight Foster, but that fight just keep hearing it's going to happen.
That's a top ranked fight, right?
I don't know. It might wind up on a PBC card. I think PBC's talking about a September 20th card in LA.
Okay.
We'll see, because a few cards have been talked about, but then they don't come to pass. But I'm hearing September 20th in LA, so maybe Oshaki and Fulton's on that card.
Okay. On PBC.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he might have to wind up fighting Carlos Castro then in a full WBC title fight. He'll probably get elevated up to full champion, but
gotta be ready to step up against Carlos.
Yeah.
Because Carlos.
I want to see him in Espinoza.
You want to see Bruce
Shushu and Espinoza. Yeah.
Probably the best fight at 126.
I love that weight class. I think all those fights, even Angelo Leo and Carrington's a great fight. Angelo Leo and Espinoza, like, you could mix and match. Nick Ball, it's all good fights. And then when Inoue gets up there, it's going to be on and popping.
Yeah, so. I'm not going to front, man. Based on that experience, that performance, I'm looking at Rafael. I'm like, oh Lord. I'm looking at Leo. I'm like, oh Lord.
He's got to step it up for those guys.
He got to step it up for those guys.
I think he'll find that.
This is the fight that's supposed to, you know what I mean? Like, you're supposed to mentally check in and do certain things and grow from that, you know? Listen, when your opponent isn't giving you adversity, you push through, and you'll find adversities along the way. Like my dad, I had a fight, I remember, and he's like, we gotta stop this guy, and I was like, I don't want every round. What do you want from me? You know what I mean? Like, but he wanted more, and it, like, I defeat that thought process through being pushed, right? So I guess if it's not coming from the corner, it has to be innate within you. You know what I mean? So that's the bridge that I think Shushu's at now, where he's just got to figure out ways to step it up and do more.
Well, look at Brian Norman Jr. He was winning fights against like Quinton Randall, who fought on this card, but it wasn't moving the needle for him, making people want to see him. Then if he had just been winning 12-round decisions against Derek Cuevas and Sasaki and Santillan, he'd have a belt like Bruce has a belt now, but he wouldn't be leveling up like he has been going into a Haney fight now. So I think I'm just bringing him up to kind of highlight what you mean. It's not enough to just win. How you win matters too. And
And then go back real quick. Rohan Polanco beat Quinton Randall. I forgot about that fight.
Yep.
And then so who's Polanco calling out, won the fight?
Brian Norman.
He's won the fight, Brian Norman.
He's moving up the rankings for his belt. He was number 7 with the WPO heading into this. He's with Top Rank. So if he keeps winning, he's going to get a shot at that belt.
I'm telling y'all, man, styles make fights. This kid, he's compared to Brian Norman, he seems like a kid. Seems a little younger, little immature in some areas. Not experienced enough in some ways. He's Puerto Rican.
Dominican.
He's Dominican.
Yeah.
But this Dominican dude got a flair, you know what I mean? And a lot of guys, you might look at that and say that's two different levels. And you right, on paper it looks like two different levels until you get in the ring and this flare just is flaring. You know what I mean? It starts doing something. So I don't know if it's too soon for him to be like truly calling out Brian Norman Jr., but I'm not mad at it because I know what his abilities are, you know? I don't think his maturity and everything has met his abilities yet. I think like they're on two different levels. It's like the abilities are here, but he's still got some things to learn and experience.
Like Hendry.
Like Hendry, yeah. But at any given point, it's like, yo, it just met tonight against the big bad wolf. You know what I mean? So I like that he's calling out Brian Norman Jr.
Calls him easy work.
The fight that he had with Quinton Randall is just not an easy night for anybody, you know? And, you get to a point where you see a guy's got a couple of losses and you think, I'm going to come in here, I'm going to be the guy to do it. It just didn't happen, you know?
No, Quinton Randall has all the attributes it takes to be a real good journeyman.
Yeah.
People hear journeyman and they think that's a diss. No, there's a lot of honor in being a really good journeyman. You got to have a certain character to be a journeyman. Like, what I mean, so some people said,
miss me with that, bro.
No, let me break it down, right? Because I remember in my comments, someone left after the Berlanga-Shiraz fight, maybe Berlanga could be a journeyman or a gatekeeper, and I go, no, he's a front runner. He's a guy who's going to win and dominate and knock you out, or it's going to go the other way bad. To be a good journeyman, you have to, you can't be a front runner. You have to be crafty, tough, durable. You have to be a little slick. You have to take a good shot. Like, there's some real fighter qualities it takes to hold down that journeyman spot. And Quinton Randall has it, so salutes a quick draw Randall.
I mean, I think he might know he got it.
Yeah, man. We can't always, we give the champions their shine as they make sense, but, we got to give a little bit of credit to the pros out there who will never sniff a title, never.
And I'll let you do it.
Yeah.
And then Emilio Vargas.
Oh, wait, I got to make it about Polanco.
So, you go.
So when you talk about the maturity matching up with the talent, and he's got the two big boxes. He has some good punching power, good speed. But the thing is, a lot of fighters, I'm going to keep it real, from the Caribbean, right? With Dominican Republic, Cuba, and Puerto Rico to a lesser degree historically. But a lot of them are able to check the two big boxes. Like I saw Jan Santana, another undefeated Dominican fighter on the card. Same thing, like good pop, good speed, good skill and flash, but they sometimes they taper off in the second half of fights. They fade in the second half of fights. And that's what it is to look out for with the Morels, with the Polancos, with Jan Santana. Is they come out fresh and fast and sharp, and then after 4 or 5 or 6 rounds, sometimes I know, because I'm asking myself, why is this a pattern I've seen with a lot of fighters from those countries? And part of it is their mechanics deteriorate in the second half of fights. Their half step back to counter at a range becomes 2 or 3 steps back, and they break their base. Now, those 2 or 3 steps back, it's not in boxing stance.
Don't talk to me, talk to them.
Yeah,
you educate, big dog. Go ahead, keep going.
No, but I think you know exactly what I'm describing, and you can take it from here.
I'm like, damn. You said all that need to be said. You know, it's a tapering process. I honestly think it's something that's wired up here. And I've seen it with a lot of them as I'm here listening to you speak. I'm like, okay, well then how do you explain? They
underachieve sometimes.
Yeah, how do you explain why these things deteriorate or taper off as the fight keeps going? And I think it's just this. I don't think it's a matter of not running enough, not swimming enough, not doing enough breathing exercises and stuff like that. I think honestly it's just how they're wired, and sometimes it takes you getting hit upside the head in the United States in training for you to realize how to kind of mentally strengthen yourself, So that's what I think it is. But I just wanted to give a shout out to Polanco real quick, and then Emilio.
He did beat Randall a little cleaner than Norman did.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He did.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
He's a little faster than Norman, so he was able to
and a little longer,
and
and doesn't mind being repetitive with being first, you know.
Right.
Brian Norman will, you know, he'll be first, but he's kind of like an in-betweener. You know, I haven't really been able to identify what his style is. You know, we see a lot of power coming from Norman right now, and that's what he's known for. But I can't really. I like that what he said. I'm not gonna repeat it because if you ain't catch it and you getting in the ring with him, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
I'm not gonna fight his like. He's not gonna let Haney dictate to him. Not just gonna try to offset what you do. You're gonna have to react to my skill set and what I do.
Well, you know, he mentioned what his specialty was, and you know, the fact that so the fact that because they're gonna go back and watch it anyway. So maybe they wouldn't, but you know, when he mentioned what his specialty was, I said, okay, now I know what to look for. You know? So. Emiliano Vargas, can I finally?
Yes.
Dag.
Yes.
I think that thing was real. It was quick. I don't know, 40 seconds, maybe 30 seconds. Pull back, pull counter, but the way it landed, and it was solid, it was sharp. Not every punch lands long and has that effect, but the way it landed, it was like just. It was perfect, you know what I mean? Perfect punch, and I saw it. They replayed it. I'm like, yo, that was serious. So he turned
the knuckle over nice.
Turn it,
right?
I mean, just turn it over, boom, boom. You know what I mean? That's a timing movement, a timing punch, and a lot of times you're able to catch the guy. We saw Bruce, and because Bruce didn't drop his guy, don't mean he don't got the kind of power. It just means that the way that Vargas turned that thing over and landed just perfectly.
Let me stress something to the audience watching Emiliano Vargas since, you know, he came into manhood, basically, right? Since he got to about 17, 18 years old. Yeah. There's a lot of fast fighters in boxing, right? Shawn was fast and athletic. You know, Haney's fast. Rohan Polanco, who we were just talking about, is fast. And I got to see Polanco and Jan Santana, two fast fighters from the Dominican Republic, I think fight back-to-back, right?
Yeah, right.
When you're faster than the fast guys, you're really effing fast. Okay, so that's when the speed is really noteworthy because there are a lot of fast guys in boxing, but when you're one of the select few who's faster than the fast, your speed could potentially be something special. Emiliano Vargas might have special hand speed.
I agree.
It's something I've noticed about him from jump. You know, Abdullah Mason too. Yeah. But I remember I was shocked because Abdullah got great hand speed. They fought back-to-back on when Shakur fought De Los Santos in November 23. They fought back-to-back. I remember going and thinking these two are really the future. And he was even, what surprised me, he was even a little faster than Abdullah Mason in ringside.
Oh, okay.
So the boy is fast.
And
people are saying they need to step up the competition. It is about that time now. It is. But his father, Top Rank, look, he's this good-looking kid with the last name and everything. They see him as this very, very precious, expensive, and even maybe delicate diamond that they cannot mess up. Emiliano Vargas is the most important fighter maybe on Top Rank's roster. Because he's the one that could really become a superstar. You know, he could really become he has the kind of upside at the box office that like Ryan Garcia has, but his head's on right. And, you know, no offense to Ryan, but he, you know, he's the way what his father has him grounded in his family. You know, money and fame comes at you quick. That could mess with a young kid's head. It could mess with Emiliano's. But he's very serious about his religious faith and God. That keeps him grounded. And his dad protects him with the energy of, I'm not going to let happen to you what happened to me in my career. Because his dad was basically Emiliano's age when he fought Felix Trinidad. So yeah, they're going to err on the side of caution. Yeah. But this kid could be special.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. And I think I'll just cap that off by saying I think that it's fantastic having the example of his dad in his corner and them being able, they should be able to, and I think that they will be able to see when those demons are coming and how to weave those demons as the money comes in, as the stars come in, as the lights come in. They should be able to weave all that stuff. And another thing that I like about them, and we'll cap it with this, but I like how they all move, you know. Dad lets them all be them. They have their training regimen and all that kind of stuff. They're able to really balance being kids, being young men, being athletes, being professional athletes, being athletes of a great father, and kind of list goes on. So I think that this is definitely the bigger beginning. You know, he's already had his beginning. He's now 15-0, but I think what he just did right there is like the big beginning of the big stuff to come for him.
Well, he's this Chicano kid, and I joked with him after. I go, you would think you were Puerto Rican tonight, bro. The way they react, he got the big, even a little bit over Xander, who they loved and they supported and showed up. He was the guy they showed up for, Xander.
Yeah.
But in terms of pop, who got the biggest pop of the night? It was Emiliano Vargas.
Right.
So
let's go ahead with Xander real quick. I just thought that was a great body of work from both these guys. I mean, Garcia is nothing to play with.
Yeah.
And I just thought overall it was a good body of work for Xander, especially picking up his first title. Was happy to see him get it. He was responsible. I saw growth. I saw maturity. I saw experience. You know, he didn't look to me like someone who locked up his opponent be out of safety. Like he knew what he was doing, and that's what I saw from him when I sparred with him a long time ago.
Yep.
Seemed like he just was calculating, and it's just now beyond that. You know, he doesn't have a big name in his corner. You know, I'm not.
Javier Centeno, who, shout out to my man Gabe Rivas, Top Rank, let me know he was an understudy of Angelo Dundee. So his trainer does come from good background in that sense.
Yeah. But not a humongous reputation.
No.
Obviously, you connect him to a man by the name of Angelo Dundee, and then it kind of takes you a lot further. But for me, being on the outside looking in, I said, well, damn. I said, Xander's very prepared. And I gotta give an applause to his team for preparing him like this. That was game plan 1-on-1 right there, round by round. And I just thought that he handled it. And I mean, very close behind was Garcia. In a lot of ways, just, outmaneuvered, not on the same level of Xander.
Oh yeah.
And just as the fight went on, this is what Shushu was supposed to do. It was supposed to become evident. And Garcia was really there to make it it was evident that Xander was on another level, but at the same time, it was every round until the end was like, watch out, Xander. I really wasn't comfortable that Xander might not get caught until like the 10th round. All the way up until the 10th round, I was like, yo, this dude is still swinging. And something might get my boy. Don't get my boy. And I'm like, if it do, like, yo, you doing your thing.
No, he did touch Xander with some good shots.
A couple times,
and Xander
for sure.
always would come back.
Yeah.
And then you were talking about the clinching being, it was tasteful clinching.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? It was tasteful clinching.
Absolutely.
Although late, when he did about rounds 9, 10, maybe faded a little bit, going 12 rounds in his first title fight. Because actually I thought in the 7th round there was a chance there that he could do something special and really wow people, really convince people that he's the next Puerto Rican star, because he was starting to catch Garcia with some hard shots. And actually I found out he's naturally left-handed. Did you know that?
Yeah, stop telling his business.
Yeah, okay, right. Well, so because of his money, because people are questioning his power.
Oh, okay.
And I think if he could sit down on a good left hook, he could surprise people with his punching power. And I was starting to think like Angelo Leo did Venado, like Valdez did Burchelt. Garcia's getting desperate. He's behind on the cards. He's lunging in. Sometimes you might be able to catch him with a jackpot, sit down on a really nasty counter and get him out of there. But the reality is he's 22. He's going 12 rounds in his first title fight. So I think that was in his mind, and he managed his energy for the second half of the fight, and he did close strong in the 12th. But the thing is he's not Tito Trinidad, he's not Cotto with the big punching power, the big left hook. He's a technician. That's his thing. He's a technician, and he's been saying that for a long time. Sometimes that goes in one ear and out the other, because when you try to ask fighters what their superpowers is, they always want to pride themselves on their IQ and their ability to adjust. So I'm always like, but your real superpower is this or that. But that is his superpower. He is a technical fighter. He is a high IQ boxer with very educated feet. You know,
high energy too.
Good work, good output. Yeah, good hand speed, good quickness, good feet, good adjustment, good vision in the ring, and good character in the ring. He took some good shots in this fight and always came right back with something.
Yeah, he always came right back, or he clinched correctly, and just it was very. He had a very tasteful fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
both these guys did. So.
But I still think a lot of the public will look at Virgil, Bakram, and Fundora as the favorite over him. So he's still gonna have to grow, which he will be. He is gonna get better.
Let's get Bakram back in the ring.
Yeah, seriously.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Who's he with?
Kathy Duva.
Come on, Kath.
It's tough. She's
Yeah,
she don't, it's tough in today's landscape.
I forgot that she was with him. Yeah.
Yeah. Promo TPWP.
Oh yeah, should probably do that, huh?
Yeah.
So who we got with who's Xander getting in the ring with next?
I think his mandatory is Josh Kelly, but he probably has an optional title defense. Bob Arum says his first title defense will be back in Puerto Rico.
Oh, nice.
So he will get a homecoming fight.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. Well, that being said, we want to just remind you guys that we have our membership up. It's ready for you guys. It's waiting on you. If you are on a Android, you can get on your YouTube app. You can scroll down. It's right there. Click on that link. Join. It's right there. If you are on your iPhone and you're looking on the app, it ain't happening. You got to get on a computer. Same thing. Scroll down right there. Click that join button. We got some good stuff coming. See what I can project to you guys, because we got some. Oh yeah, we'll be going to get with Bud in about a week, and that'll be on there. We of course we made public the interview that I did with Manny Pacquiao. Pretty soon the stuff is just gonna be on the membership, and that's the only way you're gonna see it. But we felt like, as we get this thing going, just to show you guys exactly what we got going on. And I'm gonna be getting around the city, around the country, doing a lot of big interviews and stuff like that. Shout out to HyperX Arena over there at the Luxor. We'll be doing some stuff in there as well. Got a big meeting with them soon, and some more stuff to announce after that. But go on over there and join that membership. It is worth it. $9.99 a month, no problem.
You got Xander or Bakram?
I got Xander. I got Xander. I saw Bakram that one time against Tim Tszyu.
That one time.
That let me know that he's capable of so much more than I knew when I studied him.
Yeah.
When I study guys, I'm able, I watch 2 fights or so, couple rounds, and I know what you're all about. And he does not make me want to second guess my method of studying the fighter. Not many fighters change up who they are, their identity, and things of that nature. I just think he knew what he needed to do against Tim, and he came in the ring and he did it, and it worked masterfully because Tim helped him.
He did. He met him halfway.
Yeah, definitely met him halfway. But it's
more than halfway. He's like, I'm coming right into the.
And there's 100% bias there. I'm gonna go on record for saying there's 100% bias there. I'm a Xander fan. I love his energy. I love his charisma. I love what he's about.
He's a great young man.
He's a great young man, and you can see that he loves the sport. And anybody that's got love for the sport the way that he does, I'm all for him.
Well, I mean, it resonated. He sold out that small room in the Garden. If he keeps fighting good, and that's part of his one thing in his favor, like we're talking about. He's a great kid. He's a great young man. So if he keeps winning fights, he's gonna sell out the big room with Puerto Rican fans at some point.
Yeah. So he's got to keep winning, and I think he's got another fight or two before he's able to get in the big room.
Yeah.
And then of course, great dance partner will help with that as well.
I think he needs another fight or 2 or 3 before he gets to the great dance partners. I would rather, like Norman got that Sasaki fight, Cuevas fight. Let the champ make a couple title defenses and grow as a young champion. He's the youngest world champion in boxing, Xander Zayas.
I saw that, 22?
So, yeah,
saw that.
So no rush. And I don't know if he meant it this way, probably not, but he said after the fight when I asked him about Fundora, I said, hey, man, Fundora said after stopping Zhu last week, he wants his belt back. And he goes, well, he shouldn't have lost it and vacated it in the first place. So you could almost take that in a joking way as like, well, get used to you missing it because I'm not fighting you for it right now. You know what I mean? If you wanted it so bad, we could have done that. Now I'm going to do my own thing.
We got Kenneth Sims this weekend.
Yeah.
Getting in the ring with Oscar Duarte.
great. That's fight of the year potential candidate.
I hope so. I did an interview, a really nice interview with Kenny Sims, and we're gonna post that. I believe we're gonna post that Friday, probably right after the weigh-in, just to kind of help get people stirred up about this fight here. But I really think that this has the ability to be a really good boxing match.
I think it has fight of the year candidate on it because you got Kenny Sims, who's been swimming without getting wet in the pocket, fighting in the pocket a lot. And you got Oscar Duarte, a pressure Mexican fighter with good power. If Kenny Sims stays in the pocket a lot, he may lose this fight because he's been winning ever since he upset Elvis Rodriguez. He's been winning fights in the pocket. Well, this is going to be quite the test of that type of style because he is not the bigger puncher. I don't think he's the physically stronger fighter. I don't think he's the bigger puncher. But defense, being crafty on the inside, being more accurate, creative, that can offset a stronger, heavier puncher on the inside, but it's a risky proposition to fight that kind of style.
Right.
Maybe it's his Zepeda Shakur kind of fight, but what do you think? How do you think it's going to go?
I think it's going to be a little bit, a lot like Zepeda and Shakur, but a little bit more of the inside fighting. I think that they're going to start the fight on the outside, kind of establish that, but I also think that they know that if they don't back him up and get the respect from him, he's just going to keep coming all night. And Oscar Duarte is one of those kind of guys that he's going to swing for the fences. He's going to swing hard. You're going to see it coming. Kenny Sims is very intuitive, so he'll already know what's going to be coming at him before it's thrown. So he's going to make him miss a lot, but Oscar still has that ability to just kind of throw an off-rhythm overhand right, off-rhythm uppercut, off-rhythm leaping left hook, and
body
something
shot.
And something crazy just starts to happen. You know what I mean? So I think the thing we really got to be, we got to look out with this fight is the physical breakdown that could happen on both ends. Because when you're talking about Kenny Sims fighting on the inside, he's just trying to break down his opponent, and he's trying to break him down physically and mentally. The other side of that, you're taking a chance on Duarte throwing
breaking
with you
down.
Thrown with you,
yeah.
Touching the chest, touching the rib, touching the elbow, and not carrying, and touching the, the top of the shoulder and stuff like that. And you look up round 9, you don't got that same kind of steam, and you're forced to do something that's gonna, may shine a bad light on you, like you're, forced to do something that you don't want to do, and you end up, dropping the decision. So I think Kenny Sims has to be very prolific in terms of, and decisive in terms of what he wants to do and when he wants to do it. I think Oscar gives him the ability, the time, enough space to decide on what he wants to do. He's not that high pace where he has to be thinking so fast and, turning it over and what. He's going to be able to really figure it out and pick it. And, as long as he picks right, it'll be all right.
Sims is probably going to have to do a clinic on swimming without getting wet, to quote the great Nazim Richardson, because Duarte is going to make him swim a lot.
Yeah.
And so I think I wouldn't be surprised if Duarte wins this fight and is just too physical for Sims on the inside, strength-wise, punching power-wise. But if Sims wins this fight, it's a 50-50 type fight in my eyes. If he wins this fight, we might see something special because if he's going to win a war in the pocket against a strong Mexican fighter in his hometown of Chicago, this could be one of those special Mickey Ward, Emmanuel Augustus, like one of those special kind of scraps, fight of the year type of scraps, where it's not for a title, it's a title eliminator, but you might get a fight of the year candidate. So
I could see that. I could see that. Well, who else is on that card? You familiar? Let me pull that up real quick. My apologies. I should have had that up.
I don't think it's Josh. If we got Josh Edwards on the card, he's making noise at heavyweight for Golden Boy.
Yeah, I like the heavyweight. Yeah.
And Caden Griffiths just got a knockout over the weekend too on one of those Golden Boy cards. So Golden Boy's starting to build better prospects. They're starting to have a deeper stable of prospects. Regis and JoJo in a Crossroads fight.
Oh yeah, forgot Regis.
Tristan Kalkruth. Yeah, and then Josh Edwards. There he is. Josh Edwards, I think, is easily one of our best young American heavyweight prospects. So
he was an Olympian, and I could be mistaken. I'm not sure if
we interviewed him in Colorado.
But did he go to? I don't think he went to the games.
To France.
I don't think he qualified.
I have to check again.
Yeah.
I think he might have actually. Though.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember.
Jamar didn't. Jamar Talley, I don't think. But Josh did.
That's who it was. Okay, that's who it was. Yeah, so that should be a good card coming on DAZN this weekend, Saturday night.
Yep.
I'm out of town, or I say, what you doing?
Yeah, I might go to the fight in Chicago.
Yeah.
I think I might just pull up fight night.
Okay.
Kenny is a guy that is a workman-like fighter trying to get to a title shot. I kind of want to throw my support behind a guy like that. May the best man win. Duarte, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Duarte's too strong for him on the inside, but it's going to be a good-ass fight.
Yeah. So you going to go out for that one?
I think I might.
Okay.
Yeah. Chi-Town, stand up.
I got a super chat that leads me right into how we're going to actually end this show, but my computer just died. So let me get. I
gotta apologize to the audience. It was a long weekend. This is one of the more tired PorterWay podcast efforts. They probably noticed. I apologize.
So you hit me up and you told me some stuff was going down on social media, specifically Twitter X with Bill Haney and Devin Haney and
us.
SNAC and us and Victor Conte and Vada and all that kind of stuff and I got thrown into the mix and damn you put that bitch goddamn and I was just kind of like why me it's everything made sense until I get on. Shout out to Nestor Gibbs and the Boxing Voice, but I get on the Boxing Voice, and I gotta give you some love, even though I called you and gave you some love. But thanks for hitting me up, telling me what was going on.
Yes. Cause
he then texts, hey yo, you wanna come on the show? Yeah, my guy, I'm gonna come on the show. And also I felt a little more confident because of you telling me things. And he tells me that we had Brian Norman Jr. on the show. Brian Norman Jr. says, Devin Haney, SNAC, Victor Conte, Vada. And I said, enough, that's all that needs to be said. And everybody took that out of context. And I guess I didn't really provide enough context anyway. And so, you may have heard this on the Boxing Voice, but I always say, if you don't hear it on the podcast, the PorterWay Podcast, it ain't true. So I definitely want to clear things up and say, when I mentioned that's all that needs to be said, when I got abreast to Vada and when I got introduced to SNAC, I was aware that there were conversations being had between Victor Conte and Vada. And so I don't know the extent of those conversations. I don't know if there was true advice and advisory stuff coming from Victor Conte, SNAC to Vada, but I knew that there was conversations that were being had. So when Brian Norman Jr. said that, I said, well, hey, enough needs to be said. As if to say, there's a conflict of interest. If it isn't there anymore, it was at some point. And I just really wanted to just confirm that I knew that was there, but people took that out of context. And, and then Bill Haney says, well, Shawn introduced us to SNAC. And I said, well, hey, you're welcome.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we all need supplements. This thing is moving fast. Life, the world, evolution, everything is moving fast. And in order to keep up, we need to take some supplements that are going to help supplement the things that we're missing. We are athletes that run in 112 degree weather all day doing what we got to do, and we need things to supplement the things that we lose. SNAC, from my experience, is a fantastic product to use when you're trying to supplement your nutrition and the things that you lose. But because Victor Conte, look at that timing, is connected to it, it has a negative reputation because of his negative reputation. And so, all that being said, the only other thing I really wanted to answer to, let me answer this super chat real quick, because even the super chat is, you're a little off base. Shawn, why did Victor Conte have to get your approval for Crawford to join the SNAC program before you and him fought? I don't know nothing about that.
I think there's maybe a video out there where Conte, either Conte said or you said in an interview that he had to run it by you, kind of, because that does happen in boxing. Sometimes a cut man, a trainer, a strength and conditioning coach says, "Hey, I'm going to work with this fighter. We've worked in the past. Is that a problem?"
Victor. So basically, Victor hit me up because I was a SNAC athlete before Crawford and I don't remember. I don't remember. But I'm in the day and age where I'm like, do what you got to do.
Do what you got to do.
I'm gonna do what I got to do, and we're gonna come in here and make it work. And then it says, did you and Crawford do VADA testing when y'all fought? Yes, I did. I've done VADA testing for quite some time. It's been VADA for years for me. I don't remember any other. I don't think I haven't worked with any other agency. I remember USADA when I first turned pro, when I was in amateurs and stuff like that. But for the longest, VADA is what boxing has been using, and I'm not exactly sure as to why that is, but it kind of is what it is.
Yeah, well, the big quote I mined after the episode, because I mentioned Conte once told me, and I want to mention this. It's unfortunate to be talking about this at a time where Victor is dealing with health problems. And I do hope Victor's feeling better. We may talk about the boxing and the performance-enhancing drug speculation and suspicion and all that stuff, but to put that aside, I do hope Victor gets better dealing with his health. But that said, I said on the show that he once told me he knows how to beat the VADA tests, right? And people questioned that on social media. So I went back on the interview I did years ago on Fight Hype and showed the quote that he said, the same people that know how to circumvent the tests, like myself, are the same people that know how to catch you. But what he's admitting is he does know how to beat the VADA test. So that's and the reason why I didn't bring up that quote in the aftermath of the Garcia fight for Haney is I felt Garcia was blatant. He blew weight. His voice was hoarse and deeper for a 6 to 9 month period. His temperament was completely different. And then for the Rolly Romero fight, his body, his temperament, everything goes back to normal. You know what I mean? And that seemed blatant to me. So I wasn't about to bring that up because people were talking about, Ryan wound up commenting on the video I shared with Victor. And it's like, Ryan, don't try to turn, you were dirty, don't try to turn this into that, but a lot of the people mentioned around the Garcia fallout, hey, you're with SNAC, you're not only, and here's the thing, because people are saying, well, then why not point that out with Mario Barrios, Bam Rodriguez, a list of fighters that Devin retweeted, right? And it's like they weren't featured prominently in Victor's own documentary. Victor had that documentary on Netflix. Victor showed some of those athletes that eventually, popped and everything underneath his watch. He had his favorites and they all wear SNAC, but he had in ZMA, but he had his favorites. And it's clear that Haney was his golden child in that documentary. So you're a little bit on an even different level of being a SNAC athlete. You're like a golden SNAC athlete. You're like next tier.
They're there though. The San Fran and he's right there.
Absolutely. Both from the Bay Area. Right. They're from the right. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
And then also it's Bill continuing to point a finger at Norman. Norman's already agreed in the contract to whatever is in. Well, now I want it and now August 1st isn't. Well, I want 365. And it's like, okay, well, if you're going to keep throwing all this on the Norman side, let me bring up this, which has been needed to be addressed for years since I got that quote, which is your guy admitted he knows how to beat the test. So people are right to always look at it like, okay, it's not, you can't, I don't think Devin, I'm not putting something on him.
Right.
But you're pointing a finger at Norman. Hey, hurry up with the 365, the VADA. And it's like, this guy helped VADA during its formation. He consulted with them. He admits he knows how to beat their test. He is the biggest convicted steroid dealer in American sports history. So that part.
There it is. and so then, real quick, I mentioned the Bill Blues. Is what I call it when you got Bill on your ass, you got Bill Blues, you know what I mean? And so I did the interview with Ness, and then Bill comes on and he wants me to get on the show with him. I'm not, that ain't my thing. I don't do that, you know what I mean? So, but I actually was considering it, so I let it simmer, and some time went by, and I didn't realize that Ness wanted me to come on instantly when he texted. So I was like, I'm gonna pass on coming on at the same time as Bill. I thought he was just trying to set something up, but I know how Ness get down. He like, you on, let's do it. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And but that ain't how I get down. But then I go back and I see some video and highlights and stuff like that, and Bill's going at how I dress more than he's going at what I've stated and why I stated what I stated.
So if I can too for a second, I called you about this because they retweeted, "Hey Shawn, look at Shawn Porter." They tweeted at me showing you in the snack thing, right? And I'm like, this is just a whataboutism. So I took the jab to land a right hand. I said, hell if I know, because hey, hell if I know. I wasn't there when Shawn was working as hell. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So, but the point is, you're not gonna throw Shawn being a snack athlete at me to silence me about the truth of the matter. And what does that got to do with what we're talking about with you?
At the same time, if you realize this, you can't hate on the subject that you're trying to put out in front as like, hey, well, he's innocent. If he's not innocent, then what? If he's innocent, then what about us? You know what I mean? So you basically throw me out as the pawn, the example, hey, Shawn took us there. But then at the same time, you want to hate on me. So here, this is what I'm going to do. We did an episode about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I sent notes for the show. And in the notes, I said, we're going to talk about Brian Norman Jr. versus Devin Haney. In parentheses, I put, this fight ain't happening. That wasn't for y'all. That was for the team. There's a lot of things that I say to the team that I don't always say to y'all. A lot of offline conversations that we have that aren't supposed to be for y'all. It's not my job to tell y'all what this man is doing, even though I know what he's doing. Because at the end of the day, it could prevent him from being able to maneuver the way that he wants to maneuver in a sport that you have to have. You have to have plan A, B, C, and D in terms of how you're going to maneuver in this thing. It's not my job to shut off plan B and plan D, and now all he got is A and C to work with. That's not my job. But at the same time, there's a lot of things that go on in this sport, not just with Bill Haney, that I realize and I know what's going on, and I just don't say nothing. But this time, it came out. So I'm going to answer to it, right? It didn't make sense to me, and I've said this before, that the fight wasn't going to happen, right? So then we fast forward, and when he start calling out Brian Norman Jr. about doing the testing, and everybody's hit me like, yeah, you said that they was going to back out. You said that they was going to back out. Well, slow your roll. They're not backing out because they're afraid. They're not backing out because they don't think they can win. This just wasn't the fight that they wanted. That's all I was trying to say. I'm not trying to say I don't believe in Devin Haney. I'm not trying to say I believe so much in Brian Norman Jr. It's just not the fight that they wanted. I saw that, and even though I voiced that to my people, now y'all got it, right? So if anything, just take and understand that, hey, SP know a little bit more than y'all realize. And no, I don't play stupid to it. I just don't speak on it. But since we here, and you want to call this man and tell him sign up for drug testing right now, or we pulling out of the fight, Vada not going to show up as soon as he pushed the signed button. Vada not showing up the next day, and they might not show up the next week. So why would you put so much heat on this kid about drug testing? I understand the sensitivity to it.
Well, we had Big Smoke on, right? Before the fight, that was
Big Smoke.
Who was that?
You talking about
D Smoke? D Smoke.
Oh yeah.
Well, remember he said one thing: when you dictate to another fighter a whole bunch of times, eventually you start to strip him of something heading into the fight, because now you got him. D Smoke put it better than I could, but you got him walking the way you want him to walk, coming into the ring when you say you come into the ring, and you start to not feel like the champion that you are getting into there. Maybe
I'm sorry to cut you off, but that is Adrian Broner versus Shawn Porter. There was nothing that AB was going to say that was going to shake me up and bother me. Same thing with Brian Norman Jr.
Gotcha.
My man's still talking about, I just want to go on vacation.
Right.
And I love what he said. He said, this ain't the only thing that's in my life. My life ain't just boxing.
I didn't know how to feel about that.
I loved it.
Yeah, but do you think Floyd Mayweather or Canelo Alvarez would say that? Or Manny Pacquiao? That my life isn't just I get it. Nobody's life is literally just boxing.
I chose not to because I felt like I didn't want people to question. You
didn't want to say it out loud.
I didn't want to say it out loud because I didn't want anybody to just look at me any different. Yeah, look at me any different. You know. But at the same time, it's a truth.
Yeah.
And he told his truth. And I told my truth. And if you don't think the truth hurts or you don't think the truth is real, the fact that this man gets on the Boxing Voice talking about the way I dress more than you talking about the issues at hand, it lets me know that you're a little bothered that you hear truth. When people hear truth, they attack. They get defensive. Or they do the other thing, which is, you know what, you're right. I'm going to humble myself and say, okay. So that's all it was. My man heard truth, and he didn't like the truth that he heard. I didn't mean for that truth to get out the way that it did, but it is what it is. But you got to deal with this now. I think, like Ness asked me, I think they try to get ahead of the promotion and all those other kinds of things, and it ended up backfiring on them, and now they in a fight that they might not have wanted tomorrow. They might have wanted that fight next week or next month, not tomorrow, and now this is the next thing for them, you know?
We're setting up a great foil. We're for if Haney can win this fight, put on a great performance, he'll really have, proved a lot, and we'll have to give him a lot of credit. He could very well do that. I can't wait. This fight, I'm looking forward to maybe even more than Canelo Crawford. I am actually. Two young in their prime fighters. One of them has been to the top. He wants to show people that's who he still is after Garcia, what happened there and everything. Norman is knocking on the door. He's an underground king trying to blow on the mainstream. Yeah. So I can't wait for this fight. This is going to be a hell of a fight.
But that's the perfect way to put it, too. He's the underground king.
Yeah.
And this dude done sold $1 million.
He's already went platinum.
He done went double platinum a couple times.
Look, Brian Norman's trying to 50 Cent Ja Rule him.
Yeah.
He's trying to be that hungry up-and-coming rapper who knocks you off, takes your spot. You know? Yeah.
So hopefully that clears everything up. Definitely don't mean to throw shade at the Haney team. It was a truth that just kind of came out. But answer to the truth. Don't attack and don't go the whole disrespectful route. I know Bill. I know he always liked to be fun and things like that. It's beautiful. It's great. But don't bring it at me because I'm doing the best I can to advocate and change this thing.
Do you know why it's good you didn't get on and argue with him? Because you're not gonna win an argument against Bill Haney.
No,
I know that. You know that.
Gonna talk you down.
We're not. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
so we talk on here, say what we gotta say, and
I got You got anything else?
No.
Somebody wants to know if we talk Usyk, and we did not talk Usyk. I really don't think there's a lot we need to say about Usyk.
I just think I commend him for
absolutely
from going from a blown up cruiserweight who Chisora, was able to impose his physicality on, to now to growing into hitting hard enough and maintaining his work rate from cruiserweight to outbox heavyweights, and then little by little he has transformed into a puncher as a heavyweight. And so for a fighter at 38 who's made as much money as he has, who's the best fighter in the world pound for pound, the undisputed heavyweight king, to still come into camps and say, I'm going to make this adjustment. I'm going to make this improvement. I'm going to sit down on my left hand a little bit more, a little bit earlier, and I just commend him. He is proven himself as an all-time great. I didn't know if coming up from cruiserweight, the way he likes to touch to set up his harder shots, I didn't know if these big boys would let him touch and set up, and I questioned if he could pull off what he did at cruiserweight at heavyweight. Not only did he pull off what he did at cruiserweight at heavyweight, now he's heavyweighting at heavyweight. He's knocking out heavyweights. So he's just a great fighter.
Yeah. And that's all I wanted to say, man. I got to salute how great he is. He is just turned into an absolute professional, straight up and down. And
you beat him.
That
win just keeps aging well.
So much fun to just be around and see, and he's a legend.
I was just gonna say, you went from I fought this guy who was great in the amateurs to I fought this guy who was really great to this amateurs, and now you fought this legend in the amateurs.
I've been in the ring with everybody.
Yeah.
I was watching Zayas Xander the other
Floyd. Floyd didn't spar you.
No. But I've been in the ring with a lot of guys.
Yeah.
And I mean, even he's on the list. But Stringer, hopefully that does you well. he's not going back down. He's not gonna go down to get Opataya, anybody like that, right?
No. Yeah.
No. He's staying at heavyweight, and another year maybe, and then
So he's
sunset
mandated to fight Parker, but Turkey likes the Itama fight. A lot of people are mad at Turkey for liking the Itama fight. I get it. He wants to see, even though Itama's not ready and would be jumping up 3 or 4 levels, he wants to see the next supernova against the current supernova. Joe Parker is the most deserving veteran. He's the most deserving fighter to fight for the title. And it's a hell of a fight. I love that fight. But he's not the supernova. He's Joe Parker.
Yeah.
He's a top flight heavyweight, earned his shot. Itama's the next potential supernova. So I get what Turkey wants. I want to see this era against it. I'm going to rush it. I'm going to skip a couple steps to get to it because it's either now or Usyk's going to retire a year or 2 from now and it'll never happen. So, yeah.
Hey, today's motivational message is inspired by Mr. Victor Conte. If you don't know he's sick, just pray for the man. I speak to him here and there every couple weeks or so. He's doing well. And I just hope that he continues to pull through and stay strong. But I labeled this motivational message, forgiving is not for the weak. And the reason why I did that is because, he's so many years past everything that he was involved with. Was that the 90s?
The 2000s. The mid-2000s.
Early 2000s,
The
right?
mid-2000s.
Oh, it was mid-2000s.
Yeah. I want to say 07 is when.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's so many years past that.
Yeah.
And he really has reinvented himself. He's really just changed his profile in every way. And yet you still have a lot of people that are mad about what happened in mid-2000, 2007, 2006. Obviously there were things that were done earlier that led up to everything that ultimately ended up happening in 2007. And I said, well, you know what? You have to be a strong person to forgive. And I really just want that to extend beyond Victor Conte. I don't know if there's people that are just like, well, he effed up boxing or he effed up baseball and he effed up this and he effed up that. So I'm never gonna, I personally know someone that feels that way. But look beyond Victor Conte. Yes, right now I'm actually asking for you to extend some forgiveness to Victor Conte. But beyond that, look into your own life. And if there is someone that needs forgiveness or you need forgiving from someone, understand that it takes a very strong individual to forgive. And it's not something that happens once. It happens actually every single day. You're going to wake up with memory. You're going to wake up with thoughts. You're going to wake up with experience. And you're going to have to live past that memory, past those thoughts, past those experiences. And if you're not strong enough, you won't be able to. You'll never be able to extend that forgiveness. You'll never be able to be forgiven. And you'll just continue in the life that you're in, which whether you believe you're happy or not, if that forgiveness is not there, there's a level of life that you have not reached yet. So, all that being said, let's learn how to forgive. And in order to forgive, you got to be strong. This is the PorterWay.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Microsoft Theater here in downtown Los Angeles, brought to you by Shawn Porter Promotions.